Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Tom Isabell, who is Vice President of Product Management at JEOL USA. And he's going to be talking about an exciting new launch that they've got this week. But before we talk about the launch, we're going to find out a bit more about JEOL and Tom's role. So, Tom, first of all, lovely to meet you. How are you?
Very good, very good. It's great to meet you, Rizwan. Great to meet you.
As I say, I wish we were meeting in person in PicCon as we could have done, as I was there last year at your booth last year. So it's a shame we can't do this.
And that was the last conference that I've done. That was the last time I have been to a show. So it's, but would love to be doing this in person. And hopefully we'll be able to do it soon again. So.
I hope so too. So whereabouts are you based and you calling in from today?
So I'm calling in from Peabody, Massachusetts, which is just a little bit north of Boston.
All right. Okay. So I know when I was speaking to someone in Boston last week, it snowed quite heavily in Boston. So has the snow melted away, or is it still very cold and snowy?
It's actually melted. We've had decent weather for the last week, so it's just made a sloppy mess of everything instead, unfortunately. But it's better than snow.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Look, so before we talk about your exciting new launch, perhaps you can tell people not familiar with the company a bit of a background of JEOL, and also a little bit about your background as well.
Sure. So JEOL is Japan Electron Optics Laboratories. We were founded in 1949, obviously in Japan, and we're a manufacturer of scientific instruments. Largely, we do a few other things, but a broad range of scientific instruments. We were founded originally based upon electron microscopes, but now we've branched into quite a few other things. We do semiconductor tools, we do mass spectrometers, we do NMR instruments. A good, in addition to the scanning electron microscopes and the transmission electron microscopes. So a big, broad range of medical instrumentation and scientific instrumentation. We've got 30 sales offices in 30 different countries worldwide. Again, still based in Japan, but yeah, that's largely about us. Myself, my background is as a material scientist. I got an undergraduate degree at the University of Minnesota. I got my PhD in material science at Northwestern University, and did electron microscopy. So that's how I ended up getting involved with JEOL. That's my background. I myself was a scientist and a microscopist once, a few lifetimes ago at this point, I guess, but that's where I came from. So.
Fantastic. So let's talk about new products. So what is this exciting new product that you're launching this week?
Great. So the new product that we're officially launching is the CRYO Arm 302. It's actually a relaunch, or not a relaunch, but it's an improvement upon an instrument for us. So it's a cryo electron microscope, transmission electron microscope. The ARM bit is it's based upon technology that we've had since 2010 from a line of material science microscopes that we've had. But the cryo-EM is largely biology. It's structural biology. Cryo-electron microscopy, as a matter of fact, it won the Nobel Prize in 2017 as a technique. And the CRYO Arm 300 is our top of the line. It's our flagship instrument for cryo-electron microscopy.
All right. So an obvious question is, though, why have you launched it? What is the need out there that you are trying to help solve, and what are the real applications for it?
Sure. So again, that's cryo-electron microscopy. It's literally solving life science issues. It's being able to resolve small structures, viruses, proteins, things on that level on now very close to an atomic level of resolution. So obviously widely used and widely important for things like drug discovery, as a matter of fact, for COVID. So the virus that we're fighting now, the SARS virus that we're fighting now, the structure of the spike protein was helped discovered through cryo-electron microscopy.
Right. Okay.
Yep. The pictures that they always show, whenever somebody talks about COVID, it's, the electron micrograph that was from, such and such a lab from NIH, that was done with a cryo-electron microscope. So that's the need for these sorts of instrumentation is to be able to elucidate the three-dimensional structures of proteins, again, proteins, viruses, various things in life science.
Right. And what's, I mean, are there any other products out there already, and what's unique about yours compared to those?
Yes, absolutely. There are competitors. There are other products out there. What's unique about ours is the approach that we took to it. We've been in cryo-electron microscopy. We've developed cryo-electron microscopes since 1983.
Right.
So JEOL has a very long history in the field itself. What's unique about our instrument, what's unique about this cryo arm, are some of the aspects to it. It uses a cold field emission electron gun, which makes us unique, which helps with the coherency of the electron beam. Ultimately, it helps with contrast in the images.
Right.
So for either for tomography or for single particle analysis, which these sorts of instruments are used for, you're taking a large number of micrographs of pictures and then building them together to reconstruct it. And the more contrast you have in those original images, the less images you need. So you can speed up the process, you can speed up the throughput. So we have a cold field emission gun with it, and we also have an in-column electron filter, which essentially does the same thing. It helps us gain a lot of contrast. It helps to be able to ultimately get the number of images needed to elucidate a three-dimensional structure as fine as possible.
Brilliant. And obviously you're launching it this week. So what's availability like? How easy will it be for people to get hold of it?
It's available now. The instrument is available now. So
all right,
we have
and now
we have a demo instrument here in Japan, and there are previous generations that are out there, but the instrument is available now.
Fantastic. Now, in terms of servicing and so on, obviously it's difficult when you haven't got the instrument in front of you to actually demo. I appreciate. So for people out there looking, well, that sounds really interesting. Obviously, the other question is then how easy is it to service? What's the support that you get when you get a new instrument like this? So what's the sort of support and service that people will get if they were to sort of purchase one of these instruments?
Sure. So with all of the JEOL offices that we've got, I mentioned that we've got sales offices in 30 countries worldwide. Each of our offices have, to some extent, we have an application staff. So for us here in the US, we have an applications expert who has done cryo microscopy for, well, if you ask Yap, he's done it for longer than he remembers. Actually, he'll be giving a presentation. He'll be giving a presentation on the instrument this week at PitCon, as a matter of fact.
Okay, fine. Brilliant.
So from an application standpoint, from an application support, we have application staff ourselves locally, as well as we have an expert from Japan who's here. From a servicing standpoint, each of the JEOLs, each of our offices worldwide has a large field service office. So we have dedicated field service engineers. Again, within the United States, we've got 13 offices across the country. So always somebody local to some extent. So servicing is something that we take very much to heart and are very proud of ourselves.
Well, you've actually just made me think of another question, actually, because obviously with the pandemic, it's been very difficult as people have been working remotely to look after customers and service customers. So how have you at JEOL, so I'll pronounce it properly now that you've been pronouncing it as a JEOL, been supporting your customers, if they have been remote?
That's a great question. It's an interesting mix, to be honest. Obviously, earlier on in the pandemic, we had to do everything remote. Luckily, we were able to pivot very quickly. Most of our instruments were already set up, including the cryo arms and our higher end instrumentation. We're already set up to be able to be accessed remotely. Right. So a combination of actually being able to get into the instrument and do some base level of diagnostics, and or again, from an application support standpoint, to be able to do applications training. A lot of it has been remote. Since things have opened up, and as things have opened up more, depending on the facility, we are able to get service engineers and service staff in place in person. Obviously, it's still difficult, and it very much depends on where the laboratory is and how the facility's rules are, but we've been able to largely do a lot of it remotely.
Fantastic. Brilliant. So if people want more information, you mentioned PitCon, so obviously they can go to PitCon and see the demos there. Where else can they get more information if they need it in terms of the new product?
Sure. A lot of it can just be gotten on our website, www.jeol.com. You can find all the information. You can find the information about the cryo arms. You can find the information about all of our products, as well as where your local offices are located.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, Tom, thank you very much for taking time out to talk to me about the new product. It sounds very exciting and obviously very topical, given the need, as everyone's now still looking not just for more vaccines, but for, unfortunately, maybe potentially future viruses as well coming out there. So it's a product which is very much of the moment, I would say. So thank you very much for sharing your information. Viewers, if you'd like to know more, as Tom said, you can go to the website, find out more. If you're at PickCon this week, you can check out the booth. You can check out the live demos there as well. And if you've got any questions for Tom, I know Tom's on LinkedIn as well. So you are welcome to leave comments below the video or contact him directly on LinkedIn as well. So all that's left for me to say is, Tom, thank you very much. Good luck with the launch. I hope it goes very successfully for you this year. And I wish you and everyone at JEOL a fantastic PickCon, fantastic 2021, and most importantly, a healthy 2021 as well. So thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you very much, Ruslan. It's been a pleasure.
Brilliant. And as always, as I said, check out the website, check out the booth at PickCon, check the links above the video. And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye. Stay safe, everyone.